Okay, I've been trying to record this video for weeks now. I've done it like 3 or 4 times. I've actually written 2 different scripts that I've read, and none of it ever really seemed to kind of capture the feeling or the intent that I wanted out of it, which was just to sort of talk about a new project that I want to do. So some things have been going on, and I thought I should just wing it. You know, I should just go in there and say what I want to say and not worry about trying to make it, you know, something fancy. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So if you're new here, my name is Stewart. This is my channel. I talk about movies. I talk about movies because I love movies. I started really getting interested in films and filmmaking when I was 14. I saw Forrest Gump in the theater, and that's kind of the movie that really made me realize that, you know, movies were more than just entertainment. They could actually make you feel things. A couple of years later, I saw Richard Linklater's Slacker, and that completely blew my mind. Had never seen anything like it, and that opened up the world of independent film to me and made me feel like I could actually, this kid from Knoxville, Tennessee, could make a movie. And so I went to film school, had some of the best times of my life, met people that I'm still close friends with today, have been working sort of on the outskirts of the industry for the last 15 years. I've lived in Los Angeles, I've worked on sets, I've shot things, I've edited things, I've directed things. But in the end, I always wanted to be a director. I always wanted to be like Linklater. I always wanted to be like Zemeckis. And that's what I've always wanted to do. And I have been working away for a long time. And because of various, you know, life circumstances and circumstances within the industry and just the way things sort of played out, that still hasn't happened. And, you know, there's a point that you get to in your life where you kind of have to shit or get off the pot, you know, and I'm kind of past that point, really. And so I have devised a plan. Devise sounds like a weird word, but I have devised a plan for myself where it's like, I'm going to give myself a certain amount of time. I have goals, and this is and if I don't achieve those goals, this is sort of my last chance to become a filmmaker. And this video is sort of the intro to this series that I want to do called Last Chance Filmmaker, which is me basically, I don't want to call it a vlog, but it's going to be me going through the motions of trying to meet those goals. And if those goals aren't met by the deadline, then that's it. I feel like if you have a dream, you should follow it. And you should really try to make that dream work. But I think that there is a point where if it's not working, it's just not working anymore, and you have to move on. And I feel like I'm maybe either getting to that point, or maybe I've gotten to that point and it just hasn't settled in for me mentally yet. I have a plan. I will talk more about it in a future video. I'll be more specific about what that entails, but I'm going to follow that. And one of the things that my boss always says is take people along on the journey. Start before you're ready and bring people along with you. And so that's what I'm hoping to accomplish with this video series, is to bring you along with me. Something might succeed, things might fail, I don't know. But there's a lot of things that I want to talk about. I have a list of like 15 or 20 topics already. If you have anything that you want me to talk about, feel free to leave it in the comments. And, you know, we're going to go on this journey because I feel like in the last couple of years since the pandemic began, I've really been reminded over and over again that like life is short. You know, you don't get a lot of chances. You don't get a lot of do-overs. And while I don't particularly feel like I've ever gotten my chance, I also realize that to some extent, I haven't always done the best job of being prepared for when those chances come along. So my goal with my plan is to be prepared for when the chance does come. And that's part of what we're going to be talking about in this series of videos. Because I have come pretty close a couple of times just giving up. And I think that when you give up, something inside of you dies. And there was actually a Twitter thread by Brian Koppelman, who is a writer that I follow. He's a screenwriter. He co-created the show Billions. He wrote Ocean's 13 and several other movies. And I just want to share this real quick because it's been meaningful to me, and it's kind of struck me out on this journey. It took a little while for things to get started, but it's been meaningful to me, and I just want to share it real quick because this is kind of a big part of the reason why I'm doing this. So he says, I was 30 years old and in what many would consider a dream job, but I was pretty miserable because I knew I was letting my real dream to become a screenwriter filmmaker die. Sitting in my office one night, it hit me. If I did let the dream die, I would become toxic because that's what death does. And that toxicity would ooze out of me onto those I loved. In that instant, I decided to make a shift to find a way to finally, after years of denying it, do the thing. Try at least. So I went to my best friend, David Levian, who was already writing, and asked him for help. David gave me the artist's way and said that when we had the right idea, he and I would write a screenplay together. Soon thereafter, I had the good luck of walking into an illegal poker club in NYC, called David in the middle of the night, and we decided to write the thing. We began outlining it, meeting whenever we could, and then finally on Columbus Day, 24 years ago today, we met at my office at work because the company was closed for the holiday, and we started writing the actual script. We wrote the first 10 pages that day, Oreos included, were off and running. Ever since, no matter what, we work on Columbus Day together, this year on video conference. Whatever that creative thing is that you know you're meant to do, but it scares you, do it. Try. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to tell the world. You just have to try a little every day, and you can start on this day. I'm getting a little choked up because I feel like I have become toxic. And when he says, if I let the dream die, I would become toxic because that's what death does. And that toxicity would ooze out of me and onto the ones I love. I feel like I've already seen that in my life. And I don't want to be that person. But I also don't want to be the guy who's 50 or 60 years old and hanging on to the dream. So this is my attempt, and it's going to be the best that I can do. I'm going to do stuff whenever I can, with whatever I can. I mean, I'm sitting here in front of a camera right now with a giant pimple on my chin, and my throat is so sore that I can barely talk, but yeah, that's it. This is my last chance, and this is the series that I've decided to do with that last chance. So more of these to come sporadically. They won't be as regular as the other videos because I have a full-time job, plus I'm trying to regularly release content on the channel. Plus I'm trying to make these scripted, which I failed at miserably on this one because, like I said at the beginning of the video, I've already scripted this twice. I've tried to record it 3 times and it never was what I wanted it to be. So this is probably not going to be good. It's probably going to be terrible, but I needed to get it out because I just needed to do it, because otherwise it's never going to get done. So you get me, warts and all. I'm half crying. I've got a sore throat that's killing me. And I'll see you in the next one.